Did you enjoy those views? That was actually filmed this morning. I woke up today especially early so I could film those lovely scenes and record the beautiful sounds of the birds as well. Welcome to another Sunday. Yes, it's Sunday again, but it's no ordinary Sunday because it is Easter Sunday. So can I say Happy Easter to all those who are celebrating today around the world. Coming up, we have lots of things, including words and phrases connected to eggs, because on Easter Day, lots of people like to exchange gifts, including chocolate Easter eggs. And the big question is, has Mr. Steve bought an Easter egg for me? We will find out later on. Also, what impresses you? Is there a person who you know? Is there a person in your life who really does impress you? Maybe they have a special talent, or maybe a special ability, something they can do that really makes you feel impressed. Also, you are more than welcome to join in as well on the live chat. After all, it's a Sunday afternoon. It's Easter Day. It's just after 2 o'clock here in the UK. And this is English in Your Ear live. Happy birthday to the Queen of England. The Queen is 93 today. I thought I would start off by mentioning that because I think it's very important. Well, it is to us anyway. Here we go. Oh my goodness, I can't believe it. Are we on again? Yes, we are back. It's Sunday once more. I can't believe it. Hello. Hi there. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Oh, that's very kind of you. Oh, how lovely. I feel very flattered by those applause. Hi, everybody. It's Mr. Duncan in England. How are you today? Are you okay? I hope so. Are you happy? Are you full of Easter joy? Because it is Easter Sunday, the 21st of April, 2019, and we are here again all together on a lovely day. It is such a glorious day here in the UK. Let's have a look outside again. Now, we did start off today's live stream by showing you some lovely views this morning. I actually got out of bed at 7 o'clock this morning, which is very unusual for me on a Sunday, because normally I like to lie in bed as late as I can. But of course I have lots of things to do on Sunday, such as doing this live stream. So I got up very early and I took some lovely shots, and that's what we started off today's live stream with. So I hope you enjoyed those. Let's have a look outside. So here is the view right now. That is a live view in the garden, and that is where we will be later on. We will be going outside into the garden later on after 3 o'clock. And of course, Mr. Steve will be here with me as well in the garden, and also he will be joining me at around about 2:30 here in the studio. We have such a busy day today. Oh, I can't begin to tell you how many things we have coming today. So many things to show you, some very unusual moments of nature, two of which we actually saw yesterday. We filmed them. So fortunately, I had my camera with me. So I had my little phone with me. So I was able to actually film these strange natural moments, some weird and wonderful moments from nature coming later on. Also, some topics, as I mentioned already. The Queen of England is another year older. She is 93. Can you believe it? And she has been the Queen of England for many years. More years than she probably cares to remember, I would imagine. This morning I tried something new. I tried something for the first time. Sometimes it's nice to try something new, don't you think? So last week I bought myself a new toothbrush, but it's no ordinary toothbrush. It's actually a toothbrush that has a little battery inside. So it has a little battery that powers it. So this actually is an electric toothbrush. Can you see it? So it has a tiny battery inside, and it will also clean your teeth without you having to put so much effort into doing it. So this is something I've tried. I started doing it today, and I must admit it felt rather nice. It has a very interesting feeling whilst putting it in your mouth. It vibrates all over the place, and it makes your teeth lovely and clean. So I must admit I was rather impressed. I've never in my life used an electric toothbrush. So I thought today I would try it. And the last time I went to the dentist said to me, you might want to try using an electric toothbrush. So that's what I've decided to do. So there it is, my new electric toothbrush for me to clean my teeth. How do my teeth look today? Do they look okay? Shall I give you a big smile? I think my teeth look rather shiny today, dare I say. Lots of things coming your way, lots of questions as well. Is there a person in your life who impresses you, or maybe a person you have seen on television, or maybe a person you know in general life? Is there a person who impresses you, a person who leaves an impression on you or makes an impression? So if you are impressed by something, well, let's have a look at the word, shall we? Impress. There it is. So if you impress someone, it means you make an impression. You do something that stays in that person's mind. So you might see a person who has some sort of talent. Maybe they can sing very well. Maybe they are very good at drawing. Maybe they are very good at giving a speech in English. So impress. Is there a person who impresses you? And maybe what impresses you? Is there something in your life that has impressed you? This can be anything, in fact. Maybe your friend has a special talent. Maybe they can do something unusual. Maybe they can contort their body. Maybe they can make their legs go up the back of their neck. Maybe they can bite their own toenails. Something very unusual. Maybe an unusual talent. So there it is. Impress. Another way of using impress is you can say dress to impress. If you dress to impress, this means that you wear clothing that is designed to make people look at you and hopefully admire you as well. So there it is. Dress to impress. A woman might dress to impress if she is going to a party, or maybe she's going to a job interview. A man will dress to impress if he is after that dream job. So quite often, if you go for a job interview, quite often you will have to dress to impress. You will have to do something that will make the other person go, "Wow, you look amazing. I am very impressed. You have made a very deep impression." The person might say, "I am impressed. I am impressed by your appearance. I am impressed by your character, the way you speak, or your general knowledge about a certain subject. I'm impressed." Something that impresses you, we can say that something is impressive, an impressive thing. Maybe the thing you see leaves a long, lingering memory in your brain. So something is impressive. You might see an impressive building. You might see an impressive painting. You might hear someone use English in a very impressive way. You might be impressed by the way someone speaks English. Ooh. Perhaps you in your life have impressed someone. So perhaps you took your IELTS test and maybe you did very well, and all your friends will be very impressed. So what impresses you? Is there a certain skill or a certain ability that makes you feel impressed? It makes an impression on you. So I suppose we had better look at the live chat, because if we don't, I think people will get very angry. So let's have a look, shall we? Let's have a look at the live chat very quickly. I wonder who is on the screen. Hello to everybody. Now, today I've done something slightly different. I am wearing my reading glasses. So if I have difficulty reading the live chat, please excuse me. Because I am reading using my reading glasses. Maybe I should have put my other glasses on instead. So if something is far away, it's very hard to see if you are wearing reading glasses. So let's have a look who is first on the live chat. Let's go back to the beginning. Wow, so many people already here on the live chat. So who was first? It looks as if Alamgir. Hello, Alamgir. You are first on the live chat. And I suppose that deserves a round of applause. Congratulations to you and well done. I will tell you something. It is so hot in this studio. It is absolutely boiling. It's like doing a live stream from the center of the sun. It's so hot. Hello also to Khyber and Malinoa. Hello to you. Chris, Blue Thunder. Blue Thunder is feeling very happy today because my crush, the person I am in love with, said that she loves me. I am so happy. Congratulations to Blue Thunder. It would appear that Blue Thunder has been admiring a young lady from afar, but it turns out that she loves Blue Thunder as well. So the love has been requited. Isn't that lovely? Isn't that nice? So congratulations, Blue Thunder. So where are you taking your new girlfriend? Are you taking her somewhere nice? I hope so. Maybe a nice meal at McDonald's. Shirin is here. Lolly Lolly. Hello, Lolly Lolly. A big bonjour to you. Bella is here as well. Also Viet Van. Connell. Hello, Connell. Nice to see you back today on this Easter Sunday. Are you celebrating Easter? Are you going to observe any Easter celebrations? There are many traditions connected to Easter. One of my favourite. Can you guess what it is? Yes, of course. Easter Sunday, quite often we will give each other Easter eggs made of chocolate. So I'm hoping Mr. Steve will present me with something nice today. Who knows? Thank you, Jeff. Happy Easter. Tomek, Khyber, Hiroko, also Chris, Olga. Hello to everyone. Vitas, Beatriz, hello to you as well. Isn't it a lovely day? It's so nice outside. Mr. Steve already is wandering around in the garden, enjoying the sunshine. I am going to show you something very lovely in a moment. Would you like to see something really nice and cute? Steve mentioned last week that there is a bird or two birds building a nest outside my studio window. And we are going to take a look at that in a moment. Kaiba says, Happy Easter. Thank you very much for that. Louis is here. Hello, Louis. A big bonjour to you. Gajan is here as well. Also, Good Jug. Hello from Hagiasa in Somaliland. Mr. Duncan, do you like agriculture? Do you grow things in your backyard? I don't grow any vegetables. Having said that, I do have lots of plants, flowers, trees, and lots of lovely nature. Rajat is here. Mika, a big hello to Mika. Nice to see you here again. Belarusia. I am doing my laundry. Oh dear. Can I just tell you now, one of my most unfavourite chores, one of the things I really hate doing is the laundry. I hate washing clothes. I really hate ironing clothes. I don't like it at all. Good morning, Mr. Duncan, from Yes, I Do. You do what? What do you do? Yes, I do. Anna says, hello, everybody. Luan Van is here. Also, Saturino. And a couple of more hellos. Hello to TS. I have an electric toothbrush with a cycle brush. And it spins around. It feels a little bit weird. Yes, I must admit, when I put this in my mouth this morning, it did feel a little strange. I'll be honest with you. So I've never used an electric toothbrush before, ever in my life. So today I thought I would try it. And it feels very funny because it vibrates in your mouth. But I have a feeling, I think it cleans your teeth much better. So I feel as if this new toothbrush might be very good for my dental hygiene. I think so. The live chat has just gone a little bit crazy. So let's go up to date with the live chat. I'm afraid I don't know about Easter, says Hoshino. Well, not everyone celebrates Easter. That is true. You are right. Hello, Matrix. Hello also to Hoshino. Hoshino, I think I just said hello to you. And Matrix is here. Matrix and also Farah as well. Thanks a lot. It's lovely to see you all here today. Isn't it nice? Lots of people on the live chat. We are going to take a look at something so nice. Would you like to see something quite amazing? Now, last week Steve mentioned that there is a pair of long-tailed tits, a certain type of bird, a very tiny bird with a very long tail. But there are two of them right now outside my studio window. Would you like to see them building their nest? Okay, here it is right now. Oh, yes, there it is. Can you see? Now, I have a strange feeling that this is not very clear, but I hope you can see it. In the bush that you can see now, there are two long-tailed tits building a little nest. And the nest is very unusual because they create the nest, they build it using some very strange material. They use moss, lichen, and also cobwebs. Can you believe it? So this nest has a very different appearance, a very different look from normal nests. And quite often they will lay many, many eggs as well. So they can have maybe around 16. Can you believe that? Can you imagine laying 16 eggs? That must be very painful. So normally each clutch. So the clutch refers to the amount of eggs that are produced by the bird. So on average, they normally have about between 12 and 16 eggs. Can you believe it? So there you can see inside the nest, The long-tailed tits are very busy, and this is just outside my studio window. Just outside. So we've had some very strange occurrences this week as far as nature is concerned. Oh, and there's something else as well. Oh my goodness, there's something else I want to show you as well. We have had some new arrivals at the back of the house. Now at the moment we have sheep at the back of the house, but now there are some bulls, and they arrived yesterday, and there they are. So these particular cattle arrived at the back of the house yesterday. A small herd of bulls, or sometimes we say bullocks. I think these are bullocks because they've had some of their private parts cut off. Ooh, that sounds so painful. So there are 6 bulls at the back of the house now, as well as 40 sheep. So we have 40 sheep and 6 cattle at the back of the house, and there you can see them. So there you can see 3 of them, but there are some more as well. If we stay with this a little bit longer, you will actually see that there are some other ones as well. And the other ones are really large. They are pretty big. Now, a lot of people don't like cows. They don't like bulls because they always feel as if maybe they will be chased by the animals. And sometimes cows and bulls can get very angry. And there are the other 2. And you can see that they are actually quite big. These are very big bulls. Look at the size of them. They are quite big. So they arrived yesterday in the garden at the back of the house. And there are sheep as well. I'm not sure how well cattle and sheep get along. Do you think they would be friends? Well, they seem all right anyway. But a lot of people are afraid of cows and bulls. Some people have a deep fear of cows and bulls. They fear them a lot because they think that they might get trampled on. So if you upset a cow or if you upset a bull, if you make it angry, it might chase you around the field. And some people have been killed by cows and bulls who have become a little bit angry. So yes, you sometimes you have to be very careful. We have some more nature coming a little bit later on, but now we are going to take a look at one of my full English lessons, and then after that, Mr. Steve will be here live on Easter Sunday. Well, hello there. My name is Mr. Duncan. What's yours? Welcome to another full English episode, coming to you from England, the birthplace of Samuel Johnson, William Shakespeare, Tiddlywinks, Mr. Bean, Benny Hill, the Wellington Boot, Teletubbies, and Mr. Duncan. Oh, and also the English language. Talking of which, let's get going with today's full English lesson, starting from now. It would appear that more and more people are unable to concentrate for long periods of time due to them having short attention spans. It's time to take a look at another buzzword. A buzzword is a sentence or word that is in common use during a certain time, or is seen as being popular. Today's buzzword is attention span. This phrase relates to the amount of time a person can concentrate on one thing. This can relate to a task or an activity. A person's attention span is measured by how long they can concentrate on doing one thing. We often talk about the short attention span of young people. The various attractions and distractions that exist nowadays has led to a belief that people are beginning to develop short attention spans. The advent of instant digital media and online streaming allows people to view many things within a short space of time. It would appear that these days people grow bored easily, as more choices means that they can swap and change what they are watching in a more convenient way. The term short attention span highlights the inability to concentrate on just one thing. It would appear that more and more people are unable to concentrate for long periods of time due to having short attention spans. The word break might look simple, but in fact it can be used in many ways. As a verb, break means to destroy something by striking it or throwing the object against a hard surface. To misuse something to the point where it malfunctions or stops working is break. To take something apart in a controlled way is to break up. As a noun, break means to take a rest period from work. You can take a short break or a long break. A period of rest or inactivity is a break. To be on a break means that you are taking time away from something. In a relationship, a couple might be on a break. This means that they temporarily split. They are taking a break from each other. A brief pause or ceasing of something can be described as a break. A break in the rain. This means that the rain has stopped for a while. To break something in means to tame or teach something to be obedient. For example, you can break in a horse. Then there is the other form of break-in, which names the action of a person getting into your property without your permission. To gain entry by force is to break in. There is a great expression in English which is pull the plaster straight off. A plaster is a small piece of sticky material with another piece of sterile material in the middle. A sticking plaster is used for covering a cut or scratch to the skin. A minor wound that has been bleeding normally requires a plaster to be put on in order to prevent dirt from entering the wound. After a few days, the plaster must be removed. Most people hate removing the plaster as it can be a painful experience. Some people believe that the best way to remove a sticky plaster is to tear it straight off without hesitation. The pain is still there, but it is brief and the discomfort is over quickly. So the expression pull the plaster straight off means to get something unpleasant out the way by taking fast action. Don't delay or drag the problem out. Just pull the plaster straight off and get it out the way. Dibby-dibby-dib-doo-doo. It's a Sunday. It's a fun day. It's time to improve your English. And guess what? It's also Easter Sunday as well. Of course, the big question today is, what colour will Mr. Steve be? Will he be purple? Will he be green like the Incredible Hulk? Or will he be pink? Will Mr. Steve be in the pink? We are about to find out, because here he is. It's Mr. Steve.
Hello, everybody. Ta-ta. Hello.
Ta-ta. You know ta-ta is goodbye.
Bonjour, maybe.
Yes, okay, that's better.
Yes, hello. What colour am I today, Mr. Duncan? In the monitor in front of me, I do not look a very healthy colour.
You have a pinkish hue.
But from where I'm looking,
you look pink.
Not too pretty.
You look pink.
I'm in the pink, as you say, meaning yes. I'm healthy, full of life. Which is, of course, the complete opposite of what I feel most of the time.
Yeah.
But I'm on the live stream today, Mr. Duncan. It's a glorious day outside.
Yes, let's have a look outside. Look at the view today. It's incredible. There it is now, a live view outside. That is in the garden. We are going outside after 3 o'clock, so we will be in the garden, and that is where we will be standing a little bit later on. So don't worry, we will be out there. We can't resist going out there. We really can't. Where are you, Steve?
I'm here, Mr. Duncan. I'm here, and I'm prepared with my idioms today and a little bit of information about Easter, because we celebrate Easter every year. Well, we do here. Many countries do around the world, but sometimes you forget what it's about and some of the little customs that are associated with Easter. Mm-hmm. So I've got a little bit of information on that for everybody as well.
Sounds interesting. So it is Easter Sunday. Now the big question is, what have you bought for me today? Is there something you would like to give me?
Well, I don't know. You see, we're on a bit of a cut down.
A cut down?
Yeah. We are cutting down.
What? Tree? Are we cutting down trees?
We're cutting down on our input of high fat and sugar calorific foods.
Yeah. In other words, we're trying to stop being fatties.
Yes. Well, I want to do it. So, Mr. Duncan, between you and me, Mr. Duncan's very poor, as you know, at actually regulating what he puts into his stomach.
When you say I'm very poor,
let's just say you're not very disciplined.
I'm poor in every single way possible.
Yes, let's just say you don't really look after yourself enough. You give yourself a lot of treats, chocolate treats.
Sometimes.
And of course, because you're here, you're eating them. It gets me into bad habits as well. So I'm going to try and set an example, as I have been over the last 2 weeks.
Okay.
And
is there a point?
The point is, we're only buying one egg today. We decided, did we not, Mr. Duncan, that instead of you buying an egg for me, a chocolate Easter egg for me, and I buying one for you,
okay,
we were just going to buy one egg, that we're cutting down by half.
Steve?
Yes?
Is there a bloody Easter egg?
There is, Mr. Duncan, there is. And I can reveal it to you now and to the entire world. You want me to show you, Mr. Duncan?
That might be the longest introduction to confectionery ever. Confectionery. Oh, I love that word. By the way, confectionery. It is a very formal word for chocolate and sweet things. So we can say confectionery. I'm loving the colour of Mr. Steve today. You look green round the edges and blue in the middle. But yes, you look okay. Your T-shirt looks amazing as well.
Somebody said that, have they?
You look very summery.
See, you must get my colour right, Mr. Duncan. I don't want to look... I think you do it deliberately, you see.
I don't.
I think Mr. Duncan is trying to make me... Because he knows how attractive I am to people out there. And he's feeling a little jealous. So he's setting all the colour balance on the camera to make me look a bit pale and ill. Whereas he's looking fantastic himself in his own camera. It's a deliberate ploy by you, Mr. Duncan, to usurp my beauty and attractiveness to the rest of the world. And I can see that you're messing around as I'm speaking. So yes, that everybody knows that I'm attractive and beautiful, and you are trying to make me look less so, Mr. Duncan.
It's not hard. Trust me, it's not hard.
All right. Okay. Yes, Anna, I want to share knowledge with you all, and I hope that I'm accurate in that. We haven't looked at the live chat yet, but I'm here now. Lewis says that they've got some nice weather there in France. Happy Easter from lots of people. And no, we don't want to stay inside, Mika, today. We want to go outside on such a beautiful day. I look like an avatar, says Pedro. Hello, Pedro. Hello, Anna. Hello, Belarusia. Hello, Julie G. Hello, Tomek. Hello to everybody. Saturino. Hello to everybody. I think it's just the ones I can see on the screen now.
I think you look better now.
Well, Abdallah says that he likes me no matter what colour I look.
There you go. So the live chat is on. We've got a lot of people watching today. It is Easter. Did you do anything nice for Easter today? It's Easter Sunday. So we have an Easter egg somewhere. I still haven't seen the Easter egg. Steve, are you going to show me the Easter egg?
Do you want me to?
I'm going to have to go over there and literally fight you to get the Easter egg off you. Come on, quickly.
Here it comes.
Where's my Easter egg? Where's my Easter egg?
Here it comes, Mr. Duncan.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes. Oh, very nice. Oh, look at that.
Look at that.
Oh, Steve. Oh, that deserves a full shot. Oh, my goodness. Oh, I'm very impressed. Sorry? I'm not sure. I'm not sure I want to eat that now.
Quite an expensive one. Lindt. Lindt is an expensive make of chocolate.
Yes.
From Switzerland.
You're not being sponsored by them, are you?
Yes, actually I am. They gave me £1,000 to promote their Easter egg today.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's a bit late actually because everyone's already bought their Easter eggs. If they wanted me to promote their Easter eggs, they would have asked me last week. Yeah.
Can I just say there are other brands of chocolate available?
This is the best. Well, not necessarily.
No, but Steve, I'm just. Oh dear. You don't know much about broadcasting, do you? I'm just trying to make sure that YouTube doesn't punish me because they might think we're product placing, you see, which is not allowed on YouTube.
Isn't it? Okay, I'll put it away then.
So
I better eat it.
No, you can show it, but I have to say that there are other chocolates available, other brands.
There are. You are correct.
So there's Cadbury's as well. So there are lots of other brands of chocolate. There is Godiva, which is very expensive.
Oh, that's top end, Mr. Duncan. Godiva.
Yes. So there are other brands of chocolate. So we are not being sponsored by this chocolate company, okay? But that does look nice. And I can see there are some chocolate rabbits.
Bunny rabbits.
Ooh, very
and
nice.
And an egg. And that's two things which symbolise Easter.
Yes,
we always and the eggs.
Yes, we always think of eggs. We always think of chicks. We always think of small animals, maybe small birds, or maybe newborn animals such as lambs. Oh, Steve, would you like to see something lovely? Now, we were on a walk yesterday, weren't we? We had a lovely walk into town.
We did.
And yesterday we saw some very interesting things. And here's the first thing I'm going to show you now. Here are some lovely newborn lambs. And this is something I filmed yesterday whilst we were walking around the town. Isn't that lovely? Some beautiful scenes that really do conjure up the feeling of Easter. Yes, it is Easter Sunday, and this is English in Your Ear. It's a Sunday, it's a fun day, and it's Mr. Steve and also me, Mr. Duncan. We are now on YouTube and we are talking to you on the internet on Sunday. It's Easter. Are you enjoying your Easter so far? I really hope so. Mr. Steve has some very interesting information.
Well, thank you, Mr. Duncan. A lot of people commenting on the Easter eggs. Somebody's asked, is there anything inside the Easter egg? Well, it's always nice to find an Easter egg with something inside. And sometimes you can buy Easter eggs and they have chocolate buttons inside or chocolates. So you open the egg and then inside there's more chocolate. And that's always a lovely surprise, especially when you're a child. This particular one, I think, is just empty.
It's hollow.
It's hollow. There's nothing inside.
Yes.
A lot of people have also commented on the lambs and said, please, I think Mika said, please don't eat them. Somebody said, please don't eat the lambs.
It's a bit too late for that.
There's the paradox, you see, because the lambs are so lovely to look at. And then we eat them. Some of us do, if you eat meat. But if we didn't eat the lambs for food, then we'd never see the lambs out in the fields because nobody would be breeding lambs to eat. So it's a little paradox. We like to see the lambs, but if we don't eat them, we won't see the lambs because there won't be any farmers to produce any lambs because no one will be eating them. It's a horrible thing, isn't it?
Yes.
What a paradox.
It's a bit like
Duncan.
It's a bit like many things that people disagree with, especially when it comes to animal welfare or the way animals are looked after. So if we didn't eat any meat, then a lot of the nature that we see around us wouldn't actually be there, especially on farmland, because the farmland wouldn't be used for raising animals. So that's an interesting point, that is, Steve.
I know, and the thing is, I mean, we do occasionally eat lamb, not very often. The trouble is, they're just so delicious. They as you've said before, Mr. Duncan.
They look lovely and they taste lovely. I really do like lamb shank.
The only consolation is that they're quite cute when they're that age, but by the time they're taken to slaughter, they're older and uglier. So that's the... that's a horrible thing to say, isn't it, really? But
well, not necessarily, because, of course, some lambs are only 3 or 4 months old when they're taken away for slaughter.
That's true, but they're not quite as cute as they are in the video that you just showed. So
I will be honest, Steve, I don't really care what my food looks like, whether it's attractive, whether I would like to go on a date with it or marry it or get naked with it, as long as I can put it in my mouth.
I know, that's it. You see, our teeth are designed to eat meat as well as vegetables, and we won't talk about that because that's a big subject, isn't it, Mr. Duncan? But as you say, I have some information which you probably know about Easter, but if you don't, if you're not of... if you weren't born in a Christian country, you might not know, and even if you were, then you might have forgotten. So Easter eggs, the egg is the symbol of the empty tomb. That Jesus Christ, of course, today, if I'm not saying whether we're religious or not, but on today, Easter Day, this is when according to the Bible, Jesus rose from the dead, and the egg is a symbol of the empty tomb. And they used to give hundreds of years ago, well, probably many hundreds of years ago, for a long time, eggs were given as gifts at this time of the year as a symbol to celebrate Easter Day. And the resurrection.
You might also say that eggs are a symbol of new life.
That's right, yes. But so in this case, it's a symbol. They're supposed to be the symbol of the empty tomb.
Yes, I've got that. We noticed that bit already. You did tell us.
Originally, people used to give hens' eggs as gifts, and they used to paint them and decorate them, and give them as gifts to people at this time of the year. Really, just to help people remember what this day was supposed to be about. And in fact, they still do in Central and Eastern Europe. Apparently, they still do give hens' eggs. So if anyone's watching us there from Eastern Europe, and I think maybe even in Russia, maybe they still do as well, give hens' eggs. But of course, now we give chocolate eggs instead.
Yeah.
Because
just a tip there, Steve. A tip: next year at Easter, please don't give me a hen's egg. I want chocolate eggs. Okay.
Well, when I was a child growing up, you used to be able to get hen's eggs.
Yeah.
Well, they weren't. They looked exactly like hen's eggs, but the shell was made of sugar.
Okay.
And inside, it was solid chocolate.
I see. I thought you were going to say there was a chick inside.
No.
There was a live chick.
It was a popular sweet, so obviously that's not popular now.
Isn't it?
I haven't seen them anymore, but you used to be able to get these yellowy white. They just looked like hen's eggs, but the shell was made of sugar.
Yeah, you can still get them.
And really,
yeah.
I used to love those. I used to be so excited if I got one of those as a present.
Yeah, they're called sugar eggs.
Can you still get them, Mr. Duncan?
Yes.
What, life-sized?
Life-size? How big?
The size of a real egg.
How big do you want it? Do you want it the size of an ostrich egg?
A dinosaur egg.
Do you want a dinosaur egg that's as big as your living room?
Yes, with solid chocolate in the middle.
Okay.
So yes, that's it. But you forget, I'd forgotten what the symbolism was around an Easter egg, and that's what it is.
Yes.
And what about the Easter Bunny, Mr. Duncan?
Well, I would imagine Easter Bunny is something to do with fertility.
Well, not according to what I've read.
Mm-hmm.
The Easter Bunny is folklore, and it originates from Germany. According to what I've looked up, and the folklore is that the hare or the rabbit would bring eggs for the children. So it's a folklore. It's a bit. It's not actually based on any fact.
No, I've never seen rabbits carrying eggs.
Well, the idea was the idea was that the rabbit or the hare was a judge.
How would they hold them?
Was a judge, Mr. Duncan, and it must have been to scare children into being good, because the rabbit or the hare would come along, would give the child an egg, but only if it had been good. That was the idea behind the rabbit bringing eggs for the children. They had to be good, otherwise they wouldn't get them. So it's folklore, really.
All I can say is some children must be very, very stupid, because if they believe that. I mean, hundreds
of years ago you would.
Yeah, but how can a rabbit carry an egg? Have you ever seen a rabbit? They've got these little short stubby legs.
It's just folklore, Mr. Duncan, folklore.
You know,
if you're a good child, you can imagine parents saying, "Now, if you're good, the Easter rabbit will come and bring you some Easter eggs."
Is it a bit like Santa Claus?
Yes, it's the same thing.
Is it Father Christmas?
Similar thing.
But instead of Father Christmas, it's a big white rabbit with eggs in its paws.
Encourage your children to be good, and they will be rewarded.
Yes.
With a chocolate egg.
Yes, we understand the concept.
Yes, and of course you have egg hunts, don't you?
Sorry?
Egg hunts.
Sorry, what are you saying there?
Well, it's a popular tradition at Easter, along with the Easter egg and the Easter bunny.
Egg hunt.
Egg hunt.
Oh, I see. Okay, then.
Where parents will hide painted eggs or chocolate eggs around the garden, and the children all have to go and find them.
Eggs.
It's just a fun game.
So
That is tradition at this time of the year.
Yeah, we get that, Steve. It is Easter. It's Easter weekend. Of course, Easter is not just one day. It is a season, of course. Like most religious seasons, they take place over several days. So, for example, Christmas takes place over many, many days, and Easter is the same. So you have Easter Friday, which is quite often referred to as Good Friday. Then you have Easter Saturday, although you don't often hear people say Easter Saturday.
That's something that started. I saw it in my diary.
Okay.
Easter Saturday. Well, when I was growing up, you never called the Saturday between Good Friday and Easter Day. You never called it Easter Saturday because it's not really a significant day.
But then, when you were growing up, Steve, they didn't have calendars.
What I meant was, Mr. Duncan,
What?
is that the Saturday between Good Friday and Easter Day was not seen as a significant day that you would give it the name Easter Saturday.
I'm saying you're old.
For
Old.
some reason, it's now mentioned. And of course, tomorrow is Easter Monday.
Yes. So Easter, the main Easter celebrations are on Easter Sunday, and then you have Easter Monday as well, which is a lovely long weekend. But we are having a very long weekend, aren't we, Steve?
Yes.
Because next week we are going away. We're going to take a little trip. We're going on a little aeroplane. We're going to fly into the sky and wave at all the clouds. And we are going to a certain place. Next week we will be doing a live stream from that place. But where will it be? So I have given you a clue. It is not in England. It is abroad. It is somewhere overseas. But it is somewhere that I think you will like when you see it. I think you'll be interested in what we have to show.
A non-religious tradition in America, which has not so popular these days, are Easter parades.
Oh, yes.
The Easter parade, it was very popular in the middle of the 20th century, started in the late 1800s. And it's really, it's not a religious event. It's just that over the Easter period, apparently women would dress up in their fine clothes and wear fancy hats, maybe decorated hats, and they would all go on a sort of a parade, a sort of march. It was popularized particularly in Fifth Avenue in New York.
Oh, I see.
And it was just a chance to show off.
In my Easter bonnet.
But it was not so popular now, I don't think. If Jeff is on, he might be able to tell us. Haven't seen Jeff today. Do they still have Easter parades in America?
I didn't know Jeff was the expert, the go-to guy for everything to do with the United States.
Yeah, but Jeff's the only person that we have watching from the United States, so we rely on him for advice.
Thanks for drawing attention to that.
There may be other people in America watching us, but Jeff's the only one that makes comments.
Yes, just because someone doesn't say that they're on doesn't mean that they're not there. So don't forget, about 80%, this is amazing, 80% of the people who watch the live stream never say anything, never type anything on the screen because they're too shy. Hush, hush, eye to eye. So it's Easter Day and we will be going out in a moment.
Pedro's getting excited.
Why?
Because he knows it's approaching 3 o'clock.
Yes. Well, before we do that, I'm going to show you something very unusual. Here's something we saw yesterday whilst we were walking around. Something slippery. Something that looks
scary.
Very unusual. Would you like to have a look at it? Here it is now. Here is something we saw. So get ready. If you don't like looking at slimy, squirmy, slippery things, then look away now. Cha-cha-cha. Did you enjoy that? So there is something we saw yesterday on our walk. Something very unusual. We will be looking at the flags in a moment, and then we will be going outside. But Steve is feeling very excited. Did you see the slow worm, Steve? Did you see it?
I did. Of course, at first we thought it was a grass snake, but then we realised it wasn't. And we looked it up when we got back, and it was a slow worm.
Yes. So I thought it was a grass snake, but it is actually something called a slow worm, which, surprisingly, is not a worm. It is actually a type of reptile. It is actually a lizard that has no legs.
Looks like a snake, but in fact is a lizard, although they are closely related.
Yes, and the strange thing is they don't lay eggs. They don't lay eggs. They actually give birth to live young. Isn't that amazing?
Very unusual for a reptile.
I must admit, I was very surprised to see that. We saw it yesterday, didn't we? We filmed that yesterday on our lovely walk.
We did.
We saw lots of very strange things. The live chat is very busy, isn't it, Steve?
It is indeed, yes. Tomek, people are talking about Easter customs, and Tomek in Poland says there's an interesting custom in Poland. On Easter days, bachelor boys chase girls and dump water on them, and then spank them with willow branches.
Yes.
That's the way to get a wife.
Yes, that's
oh dear.
I think actually you can pay very good money to get that service as well.
Yes, Mr. Duncan. Jeff says they still have Easter parades. We shouldn't make fun of other people's customs, really, should we? But
well, we're not, are we?
Well, I think I was laughing. So people might accuse me of making fun. But, I mean, if that's what works.
Look, if you want to chase someone around, throw water at them and spank their bottom, it's up to you.
Let's do that this afternoon. Let's go into the local village, find some girls, dump water on them and spank them with willow branches, and let's see what happens to us.
Well, I can already see some problems with that. First of all, we have to find some girls.
Well, they'd probably beat us up because the girls around here are quite tough, because a lot of them are farmers' daughters, and they're much tougher than us. Yes. I can assure you of that.
Okay. Yes. Thank you for that cliche.
Yes.
Anything else, Steve?
No, I think that's it, really.
We've got the Flags of the World coming up. Are you excited?
Not Tomek. Pedro's very excited for Flags of the World.
Flags of the World are coming, and then we will be outside in the garden. Actually, we will be outside. Can you believe it? But now, yes, you've been waiting for it. Here it is right now. We have those Flags of the World. It's a Sunday. I hope you're enjoying today. Now, Mr. Steve should be outside at the moment. I'm hoping he's out there. Mr. Steve. It sounds as if Mr. Steve is already talking. I don't know why. Mr. Steve, are you there? Mr. Steve, can you hear me? Mr. Steve, are you there?
Olga says, a lizard with no legs, how amazing. Well, yes, exactly. So it looks like a snake, but it's got a very small head, a slow worm. And I've never heard of a cold-blooded creature giving birth to live babies, because we normally associate lizards and snakes with laying eggs. So that's, I think, quite amazing and does show how diverse nature really is, as Olga says. Now, back to Easter. My mother, of course, another tradition at Easter is to send Easter cards to people. And we've had one this year. It's a tradition that is, I would say, waning. When we say waning, it means it's not happening as often as it used to. But my mother has sent me one very nice. My mother loves sending Easter cards, and I remembered to send one this year. Do you send Easter cards? Would you like to see the Easter card that my mother sent me this year? It's on the floor, so I'll go and fetch it and show you. Here we go. What a lovely Easter card. It's a rabbit in daffodils. Daffodils, of course, at this time of the year are a particular plant that comes from a bulb in the ground that start to come out around this time of the year and are in bloom. They're one of the first flowers to come out at this time of the year, end of March, beginning of April. And so there's a nice little bunny rabbit, and it's dancing around in the daffodils. Now, we saw a rabbit yesterday. Yesterday was an unbelievable day. So we went into Much Wenlock and we had our usual Saturday meal. And then, because the weather has suddenly got very hot in the UK, nature is coming alive everywhere. And I can't believe how much nature we saw yesterday. So we saw the lambs, and then we watched those for a long time. There were rabbits in the field. There were crows coming down into the field as well. Then we walked back home, and then we sat down and we saw birds building their nest next to us. The long-tailed tits, which to see them in our garden is absolutely amazing. And we were sitting there, and they were carrying little bits of moss and lichen and spiders' webs into the nest, which is right outside Mr. Duncan's studio. He's so excited because they're his favourite birds, and they're nesting right outside his studio. So then we turned round, and we saw giant bullocks have appeared with the sheep in the field behind us. I'll tell you, they're the largest bullocks we've ever seen. Wouldn't like to mess with them.
I've never seen such big bullocks.
They're gigantic. They might come past later.
Oh, it's lovely, isn't it lovely? We're outside now. Now, unfortunately, Steve, we didn't hear everything you said because I hadn't turned the microphone up.
I was going to ask you that, Mr. Duncan. I thought I can't ask you that.
I did like the way you just started and carried on.
I thought I would carry on. I would look professional, Mr. Duncan. And I would just carry on talking in the knowledge and confidence that you would turn the sound up, and that then I would be heard at the appropriate time. I've already shown that card, Mr. Duncan.
This is lovely. This is from Steve's mum.
Yes, I've told everybody.
Yes, but now I'm telling you.
Maybe they didn't hear.
Yes, you see, this is from Mr. Steve's mum. Yes, we did have this bit, but Steve was so enthusiastic he started speaking straight away.
Well, because I thought I can't just stand here looking like a lemon.
Well, you normally do.
That's a phrase. If you stand here looking like a lemon, it means you look awkward. And Mr. Duncan's disappearing again. I don't know why. Somebody's...
Let's have some words and phrases to do with eggs.
Mr. Duncan is going to do something technical, and I can make... I've got the show to myself. This is so exciting. Right, Palmyra has asked, what is the beautiful blossom of that tree? Do you mean the one with the dark red... That's actually the leaves of a cherry tree. It looks like blossom from here. I think you're referring to the red colour there. That's actually a cherry tree, and it does have lovely red leaves. So I'm going to... some funny comments. Right. I'm going to go through some words associated with Easter and idioms and phrases and things like that. So here's the first one. Teach grandma to suck eggs. Teach grandma to suck eggs. Sounds disgusting, but that means to advise somebody about something when they already know all about it, or in fact probably know more about it than you. So if you try to tell somebody something, and they might get annoyed because they already know about it and they think you're a bit big-headed. Fancy you telling me that. I already know it. Aren't you stupid? I've been on this planet a long time. I know more than you, is what they might say. Why are you telling us how to do our jobs? We know more than you. Why are you telling us to... Why are you telling us to suck eggs like Granny? I hope I'm not. You might say to somebody, if you want to give advice to somebody and you're not sure if they know more than you or not, but so you might use the phrase, I hope I'm not teaching Granny to suck eggs, but can I show you how to, or can I tell you how to do something? So it's just a phrase that refers to... Where does it come from? Well, in the olden days, I'm talking hundreds of years ago, then to tell an elderly person how to suck eggs or how to eat eggs is what that really means, would be a stupid thing to do because obviously they already know. Mr. Duncan, I can't see what I'm holding up now. Which is a bit of a disadvantage to me standing here showing you these words and phrases. So that's teach a granny how to suck eggs. Here's another one. Kill the goose that lays the golden eggs. Now this is used mainly in sort of business terms. It means to stop or destroy something profitable in the pursuit of something better or more profitable. So it's seen as an unwise thing to do. So for example, giving up your day job to pursue a new career that is untried. For example, a company that stops selling a popular line in clothes, for example, because it wants to change its image. So if you've got something that's already working, so say you've got a job and you don't like that job anymore, but it's earning you a good amount of money, you might want to pursue a new job. For example, I'm in sales, but I'd like to be a singer. But I wouldn't just give up my day job that's paying all the wages in the hope that I might become successful as a singer. In other words, I don't kill the goose that lays the golden egg. Don't give up something that's already working quite well in order that you might in the future do better at something else. Right, here's another one. A nest egg. A nest egg. Is an amount of money that has been saved for the future. It could be like your retirement pot, for example. For example, I've saved up all my life and built up a nest egg for my retirement. So a nest egg is just is an amount of money that you saved up for the future that's quite important, and you might actually rely on it. So you might have built it up over lots of years. So it's valuable, just like a nest of eggs from a bird is valuable. So this is valuable to you, and you describe it as a nest egg. He lost all his nest egg in a risky stock market gamble. So if you were to have a large amount of money you've saved up over a long period of time, and you invested it all in one company and that company went bust, you would say that you'd lost your nest egg. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. This is all about risk. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. It means don't risk your career or your finances or your plans for the future, etc., on one plan that may or may not happen. So it's advising you really to have a backup plan. For example, when investing on the stock market, put your eggs into different investment areas. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. So that's related to the phrase I just used before. So it's saying don't invest everything in one area of the stock market. Diversify, because then your risk is reduced. That's a stock market example. But you might say the company recovered from the collapse in the UK market because it was invested in many other countries around the world. It didn't put all its eggs in one basket. So if a company has a problem, for example, in one country, but it's got offices and business in other countries around the world, it's diversified, it hasn't got all its eggs in one basket, in other words, just in one country. So that's a phrase you can use in many different ways. Where is Mr. Duncan? He's disappeared. He's leaving me all on my own to do the show. I don't think he's a very nice person. He's a bad egg. Mr. Duncan's a bad egg. If you describe someone as a bad egg, it just means that they're a bad person, morally or for whatever reason. Don't employ Julie. She's a bad egg. So in other words, she's probably going, don't employ her. She's going to be unreliable, probably nasty to people or whatever. Bill just dumped Jill in such a thoughtless way. He's such a bad egg. Yes, I wouldn't advise you to get into a relationship to get into a relationship with that person. They're a bit of a bad egg. So you're implying that they won't be very nice to you.
I've heard a lot of Bill and Jill arguing at night. Bill and Jill.
Of course, you can. The opposite of that is a good egg. You can have a good egg, which is a good person, a reliable person, really. Shall I ask John to join the project? Oh, yes. He's a good egg.
So a good person.
Reliable.
A person with good characteristics, maybe a person you can rely on. That person is a good egg. But isn't there an opposite?
Bad egg, yes. I just used that, Mr. Duncan.
Good.
Aren't you listening to your own, what's going on in your own show?
I'm just making sure. I just have to tick those boxes, you see.
Oh, well, you've got egg on your face now, Mr. Duncan, haven't you?
What does that mean? If you have egg on your face,
it means that you're embarrassed. Embarrassed by an error. An error, maybe a stupid error. So you didn't take into account that I'd already used the phrase bad egg.
I didn't know.
So you look a bit silly, a bit embarrassed, don't you?
Yes, I feel a bit foolish.
If you had egg all over your face, you would look a bit silly and you'd feel embarrassed.
I feel very foolish.
You would do. Charlotte told everybody that we should have our company meal at that new restaurant, but it was awful. So now she has egg on her face. That's it. So you're embarrassed about something.
I'm going to have chocolate egg on my face.
Mr. Duncan, do you want me to carry on?
Steve, you are doing an amazing job. You are fantastic. In fact, I think I might give you the job. So this is like an interview today because I have been reassessing Mr. Steve's contract. So Mr. Steve's contract will be ending soon. So today is a sort of interview to see whether or not I'm going to continue employing Mr. Steve as my sidekick.
Bella says Mr. Steve is a good egg, and so is Mr. Duncan. And that we don't have egg on our faces. Right. So here's another one. You can egg somebody on. You can egg somebody on. That means to encourage somebody to do something, usually a bad or wrong or a dangerous thing. If you egg somebody on, it means you're encouraging them to do something. You're probably making them feel embarrassed, and if they don't do it, you might dare them to do something. For example, all the boys egged on John to steal apples from the shop. So it's when a group of people get together and they try to encourage somebody to do something that might not be very good, you egg them on. Sometimes, for example, a group of boys might egg on somebody to do something dangerous, like walk across the rail tracks, and they tell them, "Oh, come on, you scaredy cat! Don't go on, do it! Don't be stupid! Oh, you're scared! You're weak! You're stupid!
Do it!
So you might be encouraged to do something against your best wishes.
So they egg this person on. They encourage them to do it.
Do you want me to continue, Mr. Duncan?
Yes, it's great. We're having a great time. It's 3:25, and it's a Sunday afternoon, and this is English in Your Ear, and we're outside on Easter Sunday, and it's a beautiful day. Glorious, and I hope it's nice where you are as well.
Olga's made a very good example there, or given us a good example. I often feel as though I have egg on my face writing messages on the live chat because I make mistakes. Yes, so you feel a bit embarrassed. I mean, there's no need for you to feel embarrassed, but that's a very good example because this is an area where we're trying to learn, and therefore mistakes can be made.
What I always say is learning anything is about making mistakes. So the more mistakes you make, the more you actually learn.
The important thing is, though, that sometimes you need to come out of your shell.
Yes, I think so.
Come out of your shell.
Come out of your shell.
And that's what everyone is doing when they're writing messages on the live chat. So if you come out of your shell, it means that you become more confident in yourself. You do something that improves your confidence and allows you to be more yourself. For example, Sally has really come out of her shell since she left home and went to college. John has really come out of his shell since he had those new friends and has been out more.
So you might say a person that was shy or who was shy, and then later they become more confident or more outgoing. You can say that they have come out of their shell. Just like a little bird. When a little bird hatches out of a shell, they come out of their shell.
It's implying that you were shy and reserved before.
Like Steve.
Yes, I've come out of my shell since Mr. Duncan invited me to help him on the live stream.
It's true.
Palmyra says, "Are you a vegan?" I thought you said virgin at first. Saying to Alamgir, vegan.
Yes, okay.
I nearly read that incorrectly.
Apparently eggs are an excellent source of protein. Yes.
That's very true.
An egg a day can keep the doctor away because you get this lovely balance of protein. I think so. We love eggs, don't we?
Yes.
We always like to poach our eggs. We steal them from our neighbour.
Yes, the protein in eggs is very close in its composition to the protein that we need, because it contains all the amino acids that you need to actually form all the proteins that we need as humans.
That was a joke. That was a joke I just made there. So when you poach something, it means to cook something using steam, or you can steal something from another person. So you can poach something, which means to steal, but also poaching can mean to cook something using steam. So yeah, that was Mr. Duncan's little pun.
It's very bright out here, Mr. Duncan.
That's the sun.
It's very bright indeed. So eggs contain a lot of essential amino acids, which you don't often get from plant protein. Right. This is something Mr. Duncan has to do a lot of. Shelling out. If you shell out on something, it means you're spending a lot of money on something that you didn't really want to. Maybe you have to have some repairs done to your car. It's money that you have to spend that you don't really want to, or that was unexpected. For example, I had to shell out on a new pair of trousers because I spilt paint down my old ones. For another example, I had to shell out on repairs to my car, £300 when it broke down the other day. So when you say you shell out, it means that you're spending money that you didn't expect to have to pay and didn't really want to. So it's different to spending money on something that you like spending money on. You didn't purchase something. If people say you shell out on something, it means that you did it reluctantly. I had to shell out for a new car for my wife after she found out I'd been seeing another woman. Could be an extreme example of using that phrase. Right. So they were ones to do with eggs. Here are general ones which obviously eggs hatch out. So related to that, if you hatch a plan, it means you formed a plan in your mind. But usually, when you use the word hatch a plan, it means that you're probably doing it quickly, and you're rushing it, or you're having to do it, or forced into doing something quickly and make a plan or a scheme. For example, we need to hatch a plan if we're going to win this game. So you could be playing football, you're losing, and you need to hatch a plan. That means you need to put together a plan quickly in order to try and succeed. It might not be successful, it's just a rough plan, to hatch a plan. I feel as though I'm doing this show all on my own today.
Steve, you are doing an amazing job.
Have you resigned?
I'm starting the holiday early. By the way, we're going away next week. We're going somewhere different. So we will be doing a live stream during the week, and it will be in a very different place. But where will it be? Where will it be? Find out next week.
Bella says it's difficult to come out of our shells nowadays, especially when working with people, because we are constantly being misjudged. Yes, that's true. It's difficult to say I think what you mean there, Bella, is it's difficult to say what you think all the time, because you've got to be careful about offending people. I think that's what you mean there. Yes, okay, right.
Apparently Lena is leaving. Bye, Lena. Lena, see you next week.
Well, she's going to eat her Easter eggs.
She?
Maybe.
She?
I don't know. Pedro likes to cook omelettes.
Yes,
omelettes. Anybody cooked an omelette, it takes a lot of eggs to make an omelette. You have to probably put about 4, 5, 6 eggs.
There is a great
to make an omelette.
Yes, there's a great expression in English that goes, you have to break some eggs to make an omelette. So that means sometimes you have to do something that might appear destructive. That might be the smallest font I've ever seen. Why is it typed so small, Steve? Why is the typing so small?
Because I didn't know how to do it otherwise.
Okay.
There we go.
So, yes, there is a great expression that goes, to make an omelette, you need to break some eggs, or you need to break some eggs to make an omelette. So sometimes you need to appear to destroy something to make something else. So there you go.
Well, you have to bear some hardship or make some effort in order to achieve something.
Yes. Okay.
So, for example, learning English. What do you do, Mr. Duncan?
That's it.
I haven't finished yet.
Okay. Oh, I see.
I'm giving some examples. For example, learning English is hard work. But you know what they say, Mr. Duncan?
No.
Yes. You can't make an omelette without breaking some eggs. I couldn't remember what the phrase was then.
So the phrase you're explaining now, you couldn't remember what it was.
Well, you know what I'm like, Mr. Duncan. I get tired very quickly.
You don't want a drink?
Not from that.
I think Steve wants a drink.
Getting fit for a sports match is hard work, but you know what they say? You have to break some eggs to make an omelette. That comes from France in the 1700s. It's quite an old expression.
Oh, I see.
Duncan.
That's interesting.
Here we go. Here's the last one that I've got. What we're going to do after this, I've no idea.
Don't count your chickens.
Don't count your chickens. Or to use the full expression, don't count your chickens until they're hatched.
Yes.
So don't rely on a particular outcome until it's happened. Don't make plans based on future events that may not happen. Don't count your chickens until they're hatched. So here's an example. Jamie has taken out a loan for a new car, but he hasn't got that new job yet. I warned him, don't count your chickens until they're hatched. So Jamie is very enthusiastic. He thinks he's going to get that new job with more money. So he's decided to take out a loan on a new car. So he's using the expression you would use there to warn him is, don't count your chickens until they're hatched. So, in other words, wait until you've got that new job and the guarantee of the new money before you take out that loan on the car or whatever it is, because you might find that you can't afford to make the repayments. Right. Mika says, Mika of course is from Japan, is we like to eat raw fish, raw eggs, because we like the natural taste. Well, sushi is raw fish, of course, and that's become very popular here in the UK. And when you go to supermarkets, restaurants, well, for example, at lunchtime, I used to I go into a supermarket for a sandwich, and amongst all the sandwiches now, you find sushi.
Sushi.
They've become very popular.
I went to school with a girl called Sushi.
Mr. Duncan, is that funny? I don't hear any laughter.
Jeff says you will need a travel adapter. Will you need one? Yes, we will. We have it ready here. So this will allow us to plug our electrical devices into the power supply. So yes, we do. We have our little power adapter, so we can use plugs or electric sockets in other countries. So yes, we are going away on our big trip. Next week we're going on a big trip, and you will be able to join us because we will be doing a live stream from the place we are going to. But where is it? All will be revealed next week.
Pedro uses 4 eggs for making his omelette. Yes, so that's 20 grams of protein according to if it was 5 grams per egg. Depends on the size of the egg. It could be 6 grams. I'm being pedantic. I'm being too detailed about my explanation.
Pedantic means fussy.
Fussy, too much detail,
yes.
Unnecessary detail.
Yes, that's you. You are. Mr. Steve is very pedantic.
Sari, 2019, asks, Mr. Duncan and Mr. Steve, you look like you are loyal companions. That's one way of putting it. When did your friendship start?
Well, we've known each other. How long? We've known each other for over 30 years.
30.
30. Not 3, not 13, 30.
Yes, you don't get murder in prison for that.
You don't get murder in prison.
You don't get sent to prison for 30 years for murder.
Yes. Okay,
You might. It depends on what deal you make with your attorney.
that was very well delivered. That joke.
Right. Yes.
Okay, this is good. Welcome to Mr. Steve looking at the live chat and nothing being said.
Palmyra says, I've been saying a lot today, Mr. Duncan.
Okay, carry on.
Palmyra says, we say, that's an expression,
We say.
we will count the chickens in autumn.
Ah,
We will count the chickens in autumn. And yes, in other words, that's very similar to the expression, don't count your chickens until they're hatched.
yes.
So wait till autumn. You know, don't expect to get 100 healthy chickens. Don't plan for that. Wait until autumn and see if you have got
Yes.
healthy chickens.
Have you used the word lay? Lay. So when a bird produces an egg from its bottom,
It's not from its bottom.
well, it's the back end. You know what I mean. It's the back. It's the back of the hen, not the front. So it doesn't come out of its mouth. It comes out of its other end, you see. A little egg comes out. It will lay an egg. Lay. Well, lay can be used in other ways as well. In other ways that are very eloquent and poetic, you might say. You might lay a table. So if you lay the table, it means you arrange everything on the table. So lay, you lay the table. You can go upstairs and lay on the bed. You can lie on the bed, lay on the bed. You can have a little rest. And also lay can also mean to plan something. So you lay something out. You lay out your plans. You make plans. You lay. Any other uses of the word lay? Oh, yes, there is one more, and it's a very naughty use, and that means to engage in sex.
Trust you to be disgusting, Mr. Duncan.
Lay. So you might lay an egg, or you might lay your girlfriend. Shocking. Completely shocking.
Pedro wants us to have a live stream in the aeroplane.
Sadly, they don't allow that because it might distract the pilot. Because the pilot might start watching the live stream and he will have such a good time, he will forget that he's flying the plane.
Well, we have to turn off all electronic devices on a plane, don't we? Because it might interfere with the navigation system of the plane.
Yes, I even have to switch Mr. Steve off. Mr. Steve has a little button at the back of his neck, and I switch that, and then it turns Mr. Steve off. It comes in very useful many times during the day.
Another interesting observation with eggs is that when we went to Malaysia many years ago,
Yes.
they have the Moon Festival, don't they?
Yes.
And I can't remember what time of the year that is. Is it around August?
It is autumn.
Autumn time.
Yes, Mid-Autumn Festival.
And they have moon cake, but inside is an egg that has been buried in the ground for a long period of time. That's actually quite... certain cultures do that with eggs, don't they? You can take an egg and bury it in the ground and leave it there for months, and it goes off. Obviously, the egg goes off, but then you eat it afterwards. I don't know why.
It ferments in the shell. So what it actually does, because the shell is sterile, the egg doesn't actually go bad. It doesn't go rotten. It just ferments. And there is a great name that they give this in China and also Malaysia. They call it the 100-year-old egg. So quite often eggs will be eaten in certain ways during certain festivals in Asia, such as the Mid-Autumn Festival, which is often celebrated in China. You're doing well, Steve. You're very good at scrolling.
Do we ever fry eggs for breakfast?
We don't, because it's quite unhealthy.
Well, when I grew up, frying eggs was very popular. but it's not so popular now because
So was hanging.
it's seen as being unhealthy because the egg is already quite fatty anyway.
Hanging was also very popular when Steve was little. So
And then if you fry the egg in oil, you're adding even more calories to
Yeah.
the egg. So
Okay.
it's not so popular now. But in many, if you go to a cafe or if you go to a roadside cafe, then it's very popular to find fried eggs there.
Hmm.
Or if you go to a hotel. There's many ways of cooking eggs, aren't there? You can have omelettes,
Omelettes.
which Pedro likes, and I love omelettes. Omelettes are great because you can put all sorts of things in an omelette to make it tastier. So you can put mushrooms in an omelette, can't you? Tomatoes. My mother used to make what we call here a Spanish omelette,
Spanish omelette.
which my father really liked because he loved food from other countries. Because he used to travel the world in his younger years, so he's got quite a lot of experience. So a Spanish omelette in this country means that you fry some tomatoes
Okay.
with some onions, and then you make the omelette, and then you put the fried onions and tomato in the middle of the omelette, fold it over, and you eat it like that, and it's very nice.
So the secret of making an omelette is knowing when to fold the omelette, and everything then is sealed inside. I don't like omelettes. Mr. Steve likes omelettes. I don't like them.
Well, we're hoping we're not teaching our viewers how to suck eggs. Is an expression I used earlier because they
Yes.
might know how to make omelettes. So,
Yes.
for example, that's another use of the expression.
What?
Don't tell grandma how to suck eggs.
Okay.
So if we told you all how to make a boiled egg, for example,
Okay.
or if we were to tell Pedro how to make an omelette, he might say, "Why are you telling me how to make an omelette? I know how to make an omelette."
Yeah. So you're telling someone how to do something that they already know how to do. They already know what the method is. So we can say that you are teaching your grandmother to suck eggs
Yeah.
because when you get old, normally you lose all your teeth. So when you see an elderly person eating, they might suck.
Yes.
I think that would be a good explanation of that phrase.
So we've had fried eggs, we've had omelettes, boiled eggs where you just put the egg in water for about 5 or 6 minutes, and poached eggs.
You can also throw eggs at your neighbour's house.
Yes, you can egg someone, can't you? If you egg someone, there's another phrase I didn't use. If you egg someone, it means you throw eggs on them.
Yes,
pelt them with eggs.
You're using the word egg as a verb.
Yes.
So you egg something, you throw eggs at something. You egg your neighbour's house, or maybe you egg your best friend. You throw eggs at him.
My car was egged once. I can feel the hot sun on the back of my neck.
I'm not surprised. I think was it me? Maybe it was me throwing the eggs. I think so.
Well, I was driving along one day on this road in the town, and my car was pelted with eggs. And it turned out there were children buying eggs.
Yeah.
Local youths
Okay.
buying. They were bad eggs, I would suggest,
Scallywags.
and they were pelting cars that went by on the road with eggs. So my car was egged.
The local ruffians.
If you don't like somebody,
The local scallywags.
you might, or they've done something that you don't like.
Yeah.
You might egg their car or egg their house.
It sounds like a good idea.
Because eggs are cheap and it causes a big mess and it's very hard to clean off. So it's quite a good way of getting back at somebody without actually being violent.
So eggs are cheap and birds go cheap.
Chris says that in their country they soak eggs in brine.
Ooh.
Brine, of course, being concentrated solution of salt in water.
Pickled eggs.
Pickled eggs. We would call them pickled eggs here,
Yes.
eggs in brine.
Yes. So just preserved.
It preserves the eggs.
So they are preserved eggs. They are pickled.
Or you can pickle them in vinegar as well. They used to be quite popular here, but we don't. Pickled eggs, brined eggs aren't very popular in this country anymore.
I'm thinking of something funny because pickled can also mean drunk if you've had too much alcohol. So
Yeah.
you can be pickled. Ooh.
Jeff.
Pickled is a newt.
Jeff likes his eggs over easy.
Over easy.
Over easy.
Sunny side up.
Over easy, I think that just means sort of not too firm. Am I correct? If your eggs are over easy, they're just still a bit runny.
I don't know.
Not too well cooked, not overcooked.
I've never worked in a diner. So this sounds like the sort of thing that you would order if you went into a diner in the US. You would say, "Can I have eggs easy?"